failure. It's normal. I don't know why it's not considered to be so. It's something that happens to me on a daily basis. And to think that it's not going to happen is just wrong. Let me show you something here just for a second. Here, come take a look at this. So, life, right? I mean, we start here and we set ourselves some goals. And for some reason, we have this idea, and young people in particular, that we're just going to sail right through. You know, and some of them are willing to admit, some people are willing to admit that there might be a few challenges along the way. But what often is not the case is people don't realize that what's really going to happen is we're going to have big failures. And I'm going to argue that some of the biggest complete bombs are the ones that actually drive us up to our goals and make it happen. These are the things that make us really rethink things and adjust and change what we're doing to a point where we'll actually affect change. I feel this is a message I've been trying to get across for a while now, but I'm having a hard time doing it. The reality is, I talk to students every day that just don't see this path, that don't understand that there's a squiggle line to success, that there are bumps in the road, but there really are. So just want to take a second and hand it off to a few others. I'm going to shoot this out to my professional learning network out in the world and let them tell you what they think.
So failure comes, I think, from like a lack of preparation, like how I started this video and I have no idea what I'm supposed to say. So, I'm gonna try this again. The thing about failure is that you have to keep trying. You have to try and, I just said try again, hang on. But the big thing is that you have to make sure that you keep trying. Failure doesn't happen. If failure happens once, it's probably because you're trying something that's too easy for you. Failure should be happening over and over through this process of iteration. As you make mistakes, you learn more. Wait, okay. So failure requires iteration because failure is part of a process. Yep. That's it, I got it. Failure is something. Failure only works. Oh my gosh. Failure works if you pair it with perseverance. Because if you stop after your failure, you really haven't learned anything. The process happens when you make mistakes and you see what happened and then you refine and you make it better. Eventually, yeah, there can be an end to it. There can be an end to your failure where you can say, yes, this is success. I've made it. Like the end of this video. Yes.
Basically, Shane, that's it. There's value in failure. There's value in learning these lessons or these things that happened and realize we need to iterate, and do things again and try it again. And we really need to think about why this is important and take away the shame of failure.
Our relationship with failure is a funny one. We need it. It allows things to work. Without failure, we're not making iterations, we're not getting better. But it doesn't feel good. We don't like it. So how can we learn to embrace it?
Hey everyone, my name is Sarah Ann Lalone and I am a new teacher from Cornwall, Ontario. And don't take my word for it, but failure is your best friend. Failure has always been something that I've avoided in my personal life, in my work life, in my school life, and I've never really searched out to fail. I've never wanted to fail, and I still can't say that I like failing. But more and more, I learned that simply jumping into something, even if you know nothing about it or have zero experience or it's really new to you, just trying it out and taking failure and learning from it is something really, really important. And I realized that you can't be good at everything on your first shot. Trust me, I've tried. So failing and making mistakes is so natural. As a new teacher, I look to model failure in my classroom each and every day because it is such an important process in the learning. You know, it may take students a little extra time to get there through mistakes and failures, but it's always important to have my students tell themselves that they are able to do it no matter what. break this acronym down. So, failure, first attempt in learning. Trust me, I know that sometimes failing can be disappointing or upsetting, but it's all about your mindset. If you tell yourself that failure in this opportunity is just going to help you for the next time you try, it will totally change your life. So instead of becoming mad or upset about it, ask yourself, what went wrong? Why did I not succeed? And how can I do better next time? So now, I challenge you. How are you going to react, and how are you going to live your next failure?
Failure's pretty awesome. It's important to try and get it wrong, and then that's how we get things right. Right? Ruby thinks so.
Hi, I'm Brad Schreffler, and welcome to my kitchen. You know, failure is a weird thing. We all really worry about it. We worry about it a lot. We worry about trying new things. They might not work out. And when we get that kind of a fear of failure, we prevent ourselves from trying something new. Because a lot of times, failure isn't the end. Failure is just the first step. Failure is how you learn. And sure, maybe failure means you don't reach what goal you had intended, but you could reach something totally new and unexpected as a result of that. You know, take this egg, for example. I have cracked 1,000 eggs in my lifetime. It took me a long time just to get the cracking part down. Then the next thing that took a long time to master for me with eggs is flipping. You know, flipping an egg is one of those things that looks cool, right? You see it on TV and they're like, whoa, flip, and it goes, and it's all exciting. But it takes time to figure out how to do that. You know, it's one of those things, you practice, you practice, you practice. And you make sure you can get it right. You get the edges pulled up, pop, 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 pop. And then once it's all ready, you give it a flip. Oh, crap, I messed up. But that's okay. It's not the end. I have a backup. I know what I'll do. Instead of a fried egg, I'll go ahead and just scramble this up real quick. Boom. Throw some milk on it. And you make a new plan. You know, it doesn't always work. Our first plans don't always work out. Failure can sometimes mean that instead of the fried egg I was planning on having as my little breakfast, I'm going to have a scrambled egg instead. And that's okay. Who doesn't love a scrambled egg? Scrambled eggs are delicious. I'm going to go ahead and scramble that up. Boom. A little bit of cheese, because who doesn't love some cheese? And now, my failure has turned into a success. A scrambled egg provided by Schreff. So go, try something. Doesn't have to work every time. That's okay. Give it a try. If it fails, make a new plan. Try again.
Failure. Failure's tricky. Even though we're sitting here making this video telling you how important it is, people don't want to admit failure, and we don't want to have failure, and we want to just be good at everything. And it's true. I get that. But this is why it's important to talk about these things, because it truly is the failure that makes you better. I'll give you an example. Last month, I was teaching, and I used my phone just like this to watch myself teach so that I can get better. And I had a lesson that was a real home run with most of my students except one. There was a kiddo in there who already knew what I was teaching. And so guess what happened? He fell asleep. He fell asleep. He fell asleep. I'm still blown away by it because I just didn't expect that at all to happen. And so instead of like putting the blame on him and getting really mad about this, I had to admit that that lesson was a failure. It was at least a failure for my students who already knew what I was teaching. We're supposed to do things that help everybody in the class learn that day. So instead of getting upset, I changed. I changed a lot of what I was doing. I looked at my lesson. I came in the next day. I talked with the students about it, and we made it better. And not only did we make that lesson better, now I show other teachers, look what happened. I'm vulnerable and showing you that this can happen to any of us, and we all want to get better. So that failure has made a big difference for me and a big difference for other teachers. So, yeah, that's always going to be the part of your life that's going to make a big change and a big shift. And what I would wish for you is that your failures are as successful as that one.
This next clip is from Peter Cameron out in Thunder Bay. Peter, hold your phone like this. Not like this. Like this.
Hello everybody, it's Peter Cameron from Thunder Bay, and I'm just making this little video. It's about 8:30. I've passed the deadline of an hour and a half where Mr. Rodenheiser had said that we needed to get in our videos on failure. So I guess I failed my failure video. But don't get me wrong, I spent a lot of time thinking about failure. It's a word that Mr. Rodenheiser and I discussed really early when we started chatting and podcasting together, and he challenged me, I think, in our first podcast on what failure was. And I said failure was an opportunity to learn. So I want to thank Mr. Rodenheiser for this opportunity to learn, to think about what failure is, to think about how failure has actually made me very successful, because I used to hate failing. In fact, I think I avoided failure at almost all costs, to the point where it paralyzed me, to the point where I think I stopped learning and became really comfortable with the status quo and with what I had. And then one day I decided I wanted more, and I started taking more risks. And I realized that the more risks I took, the more times I failed. But in the more times that I failed, the more opportunity I had to move forward. So I thank every opportunity that I've had in my life for failure. And I no longer avoid failure, because I simply see failure as an opportunity to learn. So my apologies once again for not getting my failure video done, but I never make any apologies for failing.
So give it a try. Try something a little bit different. You never know what might happen. If you're lucky, you might even fail.